Welcome to Behind the Muscle podcast. Today's guest is an NPC bodybuilder. Today's guest is Tom Dupont. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
For sure. So, Tom, I've got a couple of questions I like to ask all my guests just to kind of keep the conversation continuity going. So the first question I have for you is, who are a few of your favorite bodybuilders of all time?
Got to go with Jay Cutler. I found out he was 5'8", and that motivated me to be a bodybuilder because I'm 5'8". Sean Corrida, I just met him. He's a really good dude. James Hollingshead, Ian Valeri. I think those off the top of my head are kind of my favorites.
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. So talk to me a little bit. You said James Hollingshead, kind of like, why is he one of your all-time favorites?
I just watched him on a few different podcasts, and I watch his YouTubes and things like that. And one, I learned a lot from him. And I just like his character. He seems like a really good dude. He's humble. He's down to earth. He's really good at what he does. And I like the way that he looks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I really love James as well. So awesome dude.
Yeah, actually, quick story. I messaged Patrick Tour, my coach right now, and he was with James shopping in England. And James was really cool. He sent me a voice recording, just, saying hi and what's up. And I still saved it. It was pretty cool.
That is cool, man. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so tell us, Tom, at what age did you start lifting weights, and then why did you start lifting weights at that specific age?
I was 12, and I know I waited till 12 because the doctor had to sign off on it, my parents said. So they did that, and I'm pretty sure it was for girls, man. I mean, like, I always liked lifting weights, but of course I wanted that attention from them as well. So it just kind of worked out.
Right, for sure. Now, when you started lifting weights, was that through the school, or was it at a gym or a YMCA? Where did you actually kind of start, Tom?
The first gyms I went to were at the YMCA, from what I can remember. Okay. And they, I don't even remember how we could afford it. Maybe they had a school program, but they had a really good gym and it worked out for me. I learned a lot.
Awesome. Love it, man. Okay, so talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about your upbringing, your childhood. So tell us where you grew up, Tom. Talk about maybe some of the sports that you played. Did you enjoy school? Just paint that picture a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood up to about high school, and then we'll transition from there.
All right. I grew up right outside of Philadelphia in Westchester. Parents split when I was around 12. I moved in with my father. I don't really talk to my mother too much anymore. I talk to my dad occasionally. I played baseball and wrestled and football. I did that pretty much a lot up until high school, and then the social scene started kind of taking precedence.
Yeah. So in terms of kind of like sports, was there did you have like a coach that you kind of remember that was impactful or influential in your life, or anything like that, or not per se?
Man, I think about this stuff a lot, and when I hear different podcasts, I hear about all these people that have had these certain people in their lives. I just haven't. There's definitely people I respect, but there's no one person that, has affected me in a way to give me the drive that I have right now. Mm-hmm. So I hope that doesn't sound bad.
No.
I don't know where this drive came from. It's just something that I've always wanted. And I don't know. That's kind of just how it happened for me.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like, Tom, that, just because maybe you've kind of like had to, quote unquote, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you've really busted your butt to kind of get where you're at today. Do you feel like you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, or is that not fair necessarily to say?
I wouldn't say I have a chip on my shoulder. I've made a lot of decisions that have affected people, and not the best ways. So I guess I want to make it worth it. Like, I want to make those reasons that I made those choices worth it, and why I'm pursuing this. Right. It's definitely, I've made a lot of mistakes, put it that way. Well, there's a lot of stuff I'm proud of, but I've learned a shit ton from it, for sure. And I'm just trying to be a better person from it. Right.
Yeah. And we've all made mistakes, man. So it's kind of the way life is. So now, once you were in high school, did you have any thoughts about like career? Did you think about like what you wanted to be, quote unquote, when you grew up? If so, what were you thinking about? And then once you graduated high school, where did life kind of take you?
So I always wanted to be in the military, and I always wanted to be a cop. So the way I went was I graduated. I went into the active duty Air Force, excuse me. wow, sorry. I went to the active duty Air Force. I was in Germany for pretty much the entire enlistment. And then I was married. So I was in Germany for about 4 years. Came back to Vermont, where my ex-wife is from, and I became a police officer.
Okay. Okay. So talk a little bit about just being in the Air Force. I mean, was that a good experience, or is that something that maybe you'd rather not have experienced?
No, I'm glad I did it. It gave me opportunities that I have now, as far as, the VA benefits. I didn't really do a job we're talking about. It was just some admin stuff. But I was in Germany. I got to see a lot of Europe. I learned how to drink a lot. And I got to see a lot of the world. So, I mean, in that aspect, I really appreciate it. I'm glad that I did it.
Did being in the military, did that kind of like help you like mature or grow up a little bit quicker maybe than you otherwise would have, or not really?
In a professional sense, I would say yes, but I don't think I grew up mentally until like 6 months ago. There's been a lot going on. But no, I guess I've had that work ethic from the military, where if things need to get done, they get done correctly. I'm on time. I'm squared away when it comes to that type of stuff.
Right.
So I definitely think that work ethic and that discipline comes from that.
Mm-hmm. And that then I guess obviously probably, pours over into bodybuilding and being the best version of yourself in terms of a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah, I don't cheat like that. My discipline, it's just there. I do what I have to do. I do what my coach tells me to do. And like, there's no question about it. If I have to eat, I'm going to eat. Like, I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing and we're going to eat. If I have to train, I'm going to train. If I have to get up at dark 30 for cardio, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So once you got out of the military, you said that you were a police officer.
Yeah, I became a local cop in Vermont. And then I went to a sheriff's office and became a SWAT cop. Then I went to sniper school. And then that's how I finished my career.
Okay. Are you okay with talking a little bit more about that? Like, what was that experience like for you?
It was always a goal of mine. Well, one, when I learned about who Chris Kyle was, he really kind of inspired me to, save lives from the sniper standpoint. And then Newtown happened as well. And that really affected me. So I just knew if something was going on like that, I wanted to be able to do something about it. And that's how it always affected me. And luckily I was never put in a position to have to deal with that, but I was prepared and ready if we had to.
Right. Now, being in the military, being in law enforcement, Tom, like, I hear a lot of things in terms of like, like the suicide rates high, the divorce rates high. There's just a lot of obviously pressure and stress that a lot of us other people that aren't in those professions, we don't have to deal with. So was that something that you kind of had to learn to cope with? And if so, how did you cope with it? Was that easy for you? Was that hard for you? Talk about that for a minute, if you don't mind.
It was really hard for me, man. I got put on antidepressants. It's everybody hates you all the time. And it's not easy. It's I've had somebody tell their kids not to talk to me just because I was a police officer. And I like, especially now, I'm glad I got out when I did, because right now the media is just killing us and everything that's going on. But I mean, from my experience, I know a lot of cops. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 of them are really good people. You know what I mean? Like, we're here to help you. We don't want all these issues. We're genuinely here to help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't really cope with it. I went to the gym still, but I was drinking a lot. It's like all we had in common was we like to drink on the weekends when I had time off. Because I mean, I was doing SRT is your SWAT, it's special response team, but we call it SRT here in Vermont. So I had that, and then I had sniper training, and then I was a detective, so I had to do the death investigation type stuff. Just the training and then working the road was just nonstop. So you're just worn out. You're eating like crap. You're drinking. It's a lot to deal with, man. Mm-hmm. And the pay is not worth it. Not in Vermont anyway.
Right, right. All right. So you said that you were put on antidepressants. You said.
Yeah, I mean, not put on. I wanted to be put on. I wasn't forced.
Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. So once you got done with your service in terms of being in law enforcement, what did you kind of transition into at that point?
So I'm still in law enforcement. I work for the government. I work for immigration. They don't want us just because I guess, climate of politics right now. They don't want to talk about it too much. But that's what I'm doing right now. I work for the government. I'm not a cop anymore. Total civilian. I don't carry a gun anymore. It's nice. I don't have any of the public eye on me right now.
Yeah, I guess so I mean, with all of that, I guess just taking a quick step back and then we'll get into bodybuilding talk, but having like all of the, being in the law enforcement and the SWAT and like, just kind of the climate of our country over the last, several years. I mean, did you kind of talk, did you and your buddies and your friends like within the law enforcement, do you guys talk about that stuff? Do people talk about that, or is that just stuff where it's like you guys can't control that, so you just got to do your job day to day?
So this is, I guess that's why like cop humor is so dark sometimes too, because we just deal with it. We just take whatever comes and we deal with it because there's nothing that we can do about it. We know that people aren't going to like us regardless, but we still have our job to do. And even if they hate us, we're going to do what we can for them. So we just deal with it, man. We just shut up and color.
No, yeah, I get that. And that's,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, man, because like you said, I had, Ben Smith. I don't know if you know who he is, the bodybuilder. He's a sheriff, I think, down in like Tennessee. And, he said that, he's had a great experience and stuff, but he said if he was maybe in a different part of the state or maybe a bigger city, like he may not be doing it because of just the climate like you're talking about. It's unfortunate because like you said, I mean, most people that get into law enforcement, just like military, it's like they're not doing it, just for the fun of it. They're doing it because they want to serve, they want to help people, and they want to step up, so it's go for it. What's that?
I'm sorry to cut you
Oh,
off.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
That, in my opinion, that's what it is. Everybody's born and they have a certain skills, right? I believe that I had the skills to be a police officer, and I didn't want to waste that because people, our country needed people like us. So I wasn't going to be able to do something and then just, kind of ignore it. I didn't think it was right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like teachers. I can never be a teacher. I don't have the patience, but they're great and we need them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was a teacher for a short time, and all respect to teachers. I'm not one anymore because it's something else. But it's a great point. We all have gifts, we all have talents, we all have abilities, and we got to make sure we're utilizing those in the direction we need to be, because if we're not necessarily like in our lane, then that can be that can cause issues. But okay, so when did you really get into bodybuilding training, and then when was your first competition, Tom?
So I'll kind of segue into it, right? Towards the end of my first marriage, I was doing death investigations. I was just seeing a lot of bad stuff a lot. And I kind of had this, thought like, wow, life is really short. So I always loved bodybuilding. My ex-wife wasn't into it. So one of the reasons was I wanted to be able to live my life how I wanted to live it. So that's why, we ended up divorcing. And I started 2017, I hired my coach and got, back into it 100%. And then I did my first competition in 2018.
Okay, cool. Okay, now, who did you hire as your first coach for that first competition?
Andrew Barry. He's here in Vermont.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
How long did you work with Andrew?
I think it was over a year. I learned a lot from him for sure. He got me into everything. I owe him a lot because my entire start pretty much came from him.
Yeah. Awesome. So how did your first competition go? And then were you kind of hooked from there on out?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you know how it is, but like you see these pictures and you just hate them. You don't want anybody to see them ever. But I won. I competed in light heavy and novice, and I took both those. I did not win the overall.
Cool. All right. Now, okay, before you actually got into actually competitive bodybuilding though, like, I think, did you kind of start training like a bodybuilder, like when you were in the military, or was it when you were in law enforcement? When did you kind of start lifting like a bodybuilder?
I think just from the very beginning, because I never really knew what I was doing. I just kind of would see what friends are doing, other people at the gym, or at the time it was magazines. I'd read Muscular Development or Flex, and I would kind of take stuff from there and just try it out. And I think I would do a combination though, because there was times where like I have a really good bench. So, and I'm not a power lifter, I don't claim to be, but I think I put up power lifter numbers. And I think it's just because of my style of training is, power building. Like sometimes I'll go real heavy, sometimes I'll go real volume. It just whatever I'm feeling that day, or unless my coach tells me to specifically, but whatever I'm feeling that day, I just get after it.
So did were you lifting weights then and stuff pretty consistently, like during your law enforcement years?
Yeah, I mean, there was maybe a 6 month here, there, but for the most part, I've been in the gym since I was 12 years old.
Okay. And was that, I'm assuming, a huge like outlet for you then during your law enforcement years where you could kind of escape?
The gym, it's still an outlet for me, man. I've been through just a lot of personal stuff, and the gym is always there for me. Like I've been through divorces, just some really bad shit, some really, emotional stuff. And like funny story, gonna get made fun of. I remember like tearing up doing calf raises, not because of pain, because of the emotional shit I was dealing with.
Yeah.
So the gym has just always been what I love. It makes me happy regardless.
Yeah. What do you think, like when you started lifting weights, Tom, like at 12, what do you think? Like, I mean, I know you said you think you probably started like most of us, just try to get a girl or something like that. But once you actually really transition into like lifting weights for more of yourself, like what was that thing that kind of really pulled you into lifting weights, but more specifically pulled you into like bodybuilding? Like what keeps you on this path of like pursuing the best version of yourself in terms of a competitive bodybuilder?
I think I love just being different. I love having the discipline that others don't. I love the fact that, my goals and my motivations are to train and to see what I can become, not like get drunk on the weekends.
Yeah.
Now there's anything wrong with that. It's just not for me.
Right.
I love walking down the street and being different.
Yeah. And do you feel like when you continually partake in that discipline and continue to like go down the path that you want to go down in terms of bodybuilding, you feel like that kind of gives you an edge over other people and like, in business and career and life in general?
I wish I could have the same discipline that I have for bodybuilding in every other aspect of my life. I really wish I could apply it. I haven't been able to do that yet. I don't know if it just spread me too thin, but if everybody could have the mindset that I have for bodybuilding for whatever their goals are, I think they're going to go pretty far.
Cool, man. Okay. So you mentioned training. Give us a little bit of details of kind of like how you're currently training, and has that changed or evolved over the years? And if so, how?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always changing and evolving anyway. Right now, actually, for the past couple of years, I've been doing 2 leg days. My hamstrings have always been lagging, so I've really worked to pull those in. Same thing with my core. That's come a long way. Like those first pictures I was telling you about, there's nothing going on there, but now it's way better. And now I don't know, like on this side, I don't know. I get shit for it all the time on TikTok. Whenever people see me, I don't know if it's a not birth defect, but a deformity or whatever. But this side's real thick and chunky, and this is just like flat. It's just like one big ab. So I have no idea what the hell that's about. As far as training, like the way it changes, I used to do the bro split, and now I kind of throw everything like together. Or excuse me, today I'm going to do hamstrings and triceps because I always felt that my arms were lagging. So I make sure to throw in triceps and biceps a second time in the week. And today's that tricep day, and today's also my second leg day.
Okay. Cool.
I really target whatever one that I see that I want to work on, and then I target what my coach tells me to.
Right.
So he's chest and my legs. So I've been really working on those hard.
Okay. So then do you kind of focus on like one like all out set, kind of like a top set, and then do you do back off sets? What's kind of like the structure of the training most of the time? I know you said it changes, but maybe just currently.
Yeah, no, most of the time I loved working up to that top heavy set and then doing that back off set. Sometimes I'll do like an immediate drop set, or other times, I'll take that break and then do that back off set. I'll do every exercise. I try to do that, like every single one, but not squats because that just gets heavy and it kills me anyway. But yeah, I will do the back off set, but I usually won't drop set a squat. On hack, I'll get crazy. Hack, I'll build up to that heavy set and then, drop set one plate at a time until I'm dead. Yeah. So I just always play these mental games with me that like, okay, if I don't do this, I'm going to fail. Okay, you need to suck it up and like work harder type stuff. So I'll try to make things harder just so I can, leave the gym that day knowing I did everything I could to be better.
Awesome, man. So you mentioned hack squat for legs. That's kind of an area that a lot of people, struggle with, or maybe aren't genetically gifted with the legs. So hack squat. What are some of the other movements that you found work well for you personally, Tom?
Hack squat, I love. Again, it's more about intensity. So I'll squat every leg day. I squat. I have to use a safety bar because my flexibility is disgusting and I can't hold it here. So I have to do this one. But I definitely like the different, like Tom, I got this really great exercise from Tom Platz. He would do it on a hack squat where you put your heels close together, your toes out on the bottom of the platform. And it would really help develop that teardrop. And my shit blew up. My teardrops are insane right now, but now I got to fix everything else. So now I'm messing with different feet position and trying to get my outer sweep better. Like I need better detail right now. I'm working on that with my posing coach, Antoine, just trying to get directed some more to pop better. So when it comes to legs, for me anyway, you have to kill them. I mean, your legs are super big. They're strong. They're used to being worked. If you want them to grow, you need to give them a reason to grow. And that reason is going to be intensity.
Amen, man. What about, you said, sounds like arms is something else that you're kind of focusing on right now. What are some of the movements for your arms?
The main thing I like, Mike Van Wyck, this guy I like to follow. I like him. I learn a lot from him. I've been doing his, where you hold the cable and kind of let it pull up on your tricep and then extend out. I've been doing that every time. I've seen some good growth there. And then a bicep thing I just kind of came up with on my own is, the cable machine that has the two cables relatively close. So I'll turn sideways in that and I'll curl, but instead of just coming here, I'll come here. And I feel like it just hits the entire bicep way better. And I've seen some growth from that. So I try to do that every single bicep day.
Okay. Awesome. Now with the arms, do you kind of still do like a top set, or is that more like higher volume, higher reps with your arms?
Again, it's on the day. In prep right now, I used to go a little bit hard, but I ended up hurting myself a little bit, so I don't want to hurt myself anymore. So now in prep, it's more, the 4 sets type thing and just get to that top set and do what I can.
Okay. Awesome, man. Okay. So taking a step back, your first competition was in 2018. Just unpack your competition history kind of from that point, if you don't mind.
All right. Yeah. Let's see if I can remember it. I remember the losses. So Vermont, 2018. Then I came back a year later, did Vermont in 2019, and I won the overall. I did Atlantic States like 6 weeks later and got destroyed. I don't know if I got complacent or what, but I just got killed. I'm trying to remember. After that, I did a show in Vegas and I took second. Arguably, I think I should have won that one, but I took second. And then I took that year, and then I did a warm up in New York, which I did well. I won my super heavyweight class and masters, and then I did nationals and got killed again.
What year was that nationals?
It was last year, so 2021.
Okay. And what weight division were you in?
I was a super.
Okay, last year's nationals was legit, man.
Dude, it was awesome. Like, yeah, I lost, but I met some really great people. I got some great experiences. Like, I love this sport. I meet so many great people when I travel. Like, I'm stuck here in Vermont. I don't have any friends, dude. I don't do anything. Like, I just work, and go to the gym, and that's it. Like, when I go travel is when, I meet all these people from Instagram or TikTok, and, they know who I am. I know who they are. It's really cool.
Yeah. Now, isn't Nate Spear up in that neck of the woods?
Yeah, he is, and I know he trains with Andrew sometimes. I've met him a couple times, and I saw him at nationals last year to congratulate him. But he doesn't come up here a lot. I think he's from like New Hampshire, maybe, so he's close. But
okay, yeah, I know Andrew is Nate's coach. Nate's an awesome guy. I mean, because you get in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, there's some. I'll just say there's some interesting people, right? And like you said, there's a lot of good people too. I think sometimes you just got to find them, right?
Yeah, and I think everything I've heard from Nate is a good guy. He's always been cool to me, and I've met him. And in Vermont, it's hard. There's a lot of very cliquey stuff, so there's a lot of rumors that happen, and just a lot of garbage, really. But then when it comes down to it, and you meet these people in person, and you kind of get to know who they are, and they get to know who you are. That's when things change, and I really appreciate that part of it.
For sure, man. Yeah. Now, in terms of nationals, I know you said you got stomped and stuff, but what was your takeaway? Was it just, okay, like, obviously I didn't place where I wanted to place, and I need to get better overall? Is that kind of like what you took away from nationals last year? And has that been
Oh,
your driving force this year or not?
there's a few things. I'm never going to be disappointed in my placing just because I'm really big on earning things. And if I didn't earn it, then I didn't earn it. And I'm totally okay with that. Last year, I do need to make everything better for sure. But one of the things that kind of really bothered me was I was ready for stage at, 9:30 when they tell you to be ready. We didn't get out there for 6 hours, dude. And I had no guidance. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should eat more, if I should drink this, or what I should do. So by the time I got on stage, I looked way different than when, I took pictures at 9:30. That was my biggest takeaway. And now, like, I have Patrick, and I'm sure Patrick's going to be all over me, and I'll be able to, like, we'll talk back and forth, sending him pictures constantly. So it'll be better this year. But that just really got to me last year for sure.
Yeah. Who is the freakiest guy that you saw on stage last year at nationals, whether in your weight class or another one?
I mean, Carlos, man. Carlos is awesome. He's such a good dude. Yeah. And then I apologize. I really like this guy too, and his name is escaping me. I'm such an asshole. I'm sorry. I don't remember. He's
heavies or what?
No, heavy. He was a heavy. Okay. Just did his first pro this year. But
Jordan Janowitz?
Yes. Thank you. He looks insane, dude. I love that guy's look.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Carlos was just on the podcast. He actually saw a bunch of the guys that competed before nationals last year. I had him on. Carlos was one of them. And then we caught up, I think it was last week. And man, like he's doing the New York Pro. There's a bunch of guys. Justin Shire's doing New York Pro. I think Nate Spears doing New York Pro. Like that New York Pro in terms of like fresh IFBB blood, it's going to be awesome. But I'm really excited to see Thomas because, I mean, I can't even imagine what he looks like in person, but just like through pictures, it's like he's just a ball of muscle, dude. You know what I mean?
He's so thick. It's awesome. Like I'm 5'8", and he's a little bit shorter than me, but the dude is just an animal. I got a funny story, actually. It was pretty funny. We're in nationals last year tanning, and my girlfriend knows Carlos. So we were kind of talking so we could meet up and stuff like that. But at this point, I haven't met him yet. So I'm in getting spray tan, butt ass naked, eyes closed. And then I hear somebody go, "Hey, Tom." I'm like, "What?" And it's Carlos. He's like, "Hey, man, nice to meet you." But he's a good dude. And then I hung out with him backstage before we went on as well.
Cool. Very cool. Love it, man. Okay. So what has this year looked like? Have you competed yet this year? Just talk about what 2022's been like so far. And then where are you kind of heading towards the end of the year?
So I've been with Patrick Tour since January. Everything's just been about getting better and him learning me and me, just getting better. I have a qualifier coming up in November. It's the Eastern Championships in Teaneck. And then I have nationals in December. So I think I'm already qualified, but since I've never done a prep with Patrick and I just want the experience, we're going to do it anyway. Okay. So that's a plan for now.
And then nationals this year, what's your personal goal for that?
I want to be first call out.
Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal for sure.
And a pro card?
That's always the goal. If I earn it, then I earn it. But yeah, regardless, I'm gonna keep working until I earn it.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me a little bit about that, Tom. I love what you're saying in terms of like, I want to earn it. I want to earn everything. Like where does that kind of come from? Is that a part of like just your upbringing or something that's innate within you? Like talk about that, because we live in a culture now where it's like people say what they want to be on their Instagram, but that's not who they are. And we're living in this social media fake world. So talk about earning it.
It's like those guys who want credit because they fell out of BUD/S training. It's like, dude, you're not a SEAL. Like I want to be an astronaut. It doesn't make me an astronaut. So I guess that's what it comes from. Everybody's so quick to give themselves a title that they haven't earned. I see like power lifters. Are you a power lifter or are you just lazy? Like, have you competed? Do you actually train to compete? Or are you just calling yourself that because you like to take 20 minutes in between sets and eat whatever you want? So, and then like with bodybuilders, it's the same thing. It's like everybody just wants this title and this glory and all this, affirmation for things that they didn't earn. I just don't understand it. I mean, maybe some people are cool with that, but I'm not. Like, I totally respect hard work. And when you're in it, man, I have nothing but respect for you. But you're going to know it if I don't. Right. Sorry.
You're funny, man. You're funny. I like it. That's good. All right. So earn it. I love it, man. Okay, so let's talk about your current coach, Patrick Tour. Now, what was your thought process of hiring him back in January? And then talk about just maybe some of the things that he's taught you, or maybe some of the things that are different with him as opposed to some of your previous coaches.
So let me go back a little bit. I've followed his athletes for years, and I've always just loved the way they looked. And then, James was one of his guys, and Ian's one of his guys, and I love the way they look. So I reached out to him, I think it was like 2 years ago, and I didn't hear anything back. And then after nationals last year, or right around nationals, I think I reached out again, and he responded, and I flipped shit. I was like, "This is fucking amazing. It's my dream." So I was able to start with him in January, and I've been with him since. As far as what I've learned, I've definitely learned more things about food. I mean, this is the cleanest off season I've ever had, and I mean, you can tell it's this prep has been way easier just because I was already so lean. I'm still eating a ton of food, but it's clean food, and when I cut out just a little bit, I mean, I just stripped down. And then, as far as training, he definitely intensifies the training as well. He taught me some really cool ways to kill yourself, and I think that they made a big difference.
Right. Now, is it for you, Tom? Is it ever been a challenge to kind of like have a coach that you're working with remotely, or is it really not a big deal to you at all?
No, all my coaches, with the exception of Andrew, have been remote. So I think it works great. I mean, yeah, I would love for them to be there. I would have loved to have somebody with me backstage at Nationals last year, or, just to give me that final in-person look. But I mean, it works. And you get guys like Patrick, they know what they're doing. I mean, he's in Switzerland. He has clients all over the world. The guy speaks a million different languages. Like, I trust him.
Yeah, you can just look at his resume, and there's some confidence right there. Have you paid attention to the USA's or North Americans, any of the guys that turned pro from there this year, or not?
um, I'm sure if you mentioned their names, I probably did. But now that we're talking, I'm not going to remember any of them, just like how I forgot about Jordan. And he's one of my favorites.
Well, Stuart Sutherland won USA's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw him. He's just a
Yeah.
bubbly jack dude, So
Yeah.
then he went on actually a week later, and I think he got seventh place at the Tampa Pro, which I think that's pretty cool when somebody is they turn pro and they have that pro ready physique, because a lot of guys you see them turn pro, but then we never hear of them for 2 or 3 years, and then it's kind of hard to build that momentum in terms of getting your name out there when we don't see it for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like when I qualified for nationals the first time, I wasn't ready. Still qualified, I was not even close to ready. But it's the same thing, in my opinion, for when you do turn pro. You're right. Some people are ready, that very small percentage, and others aren't. Like me, I want to be 260 before I get on stage to be a pro. Excuse me, 260 on stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to be one of those guys that disappears for a year or two to get better, and then I can finally compete at the pro level.
Okay, this is just kind of a fun question on the topic that we're on.
Yeah.
Would you rather get your pro card and then have to wait 2 years to compete because you've got to put on the size and all that? Or would you rather not get your pro card, and then when you do get your pro card, you are ready to step on a pro stage immediately? Like this is just like a kind of a what if or a fun question, but I think it's also a legitimate question because we just talked about how a lot of guys are turning pro and then we don't hear of them for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I don't want to just be a pro. I want to be a good pro. So when I finally earn it, if it is in 2 years, I think that in 2 years, I'm going to have a lot better physique than what I do now. And I think I'll be ready. So I guess I'd have to go with that. I'd rather come out really, really good the first time than just be like kind of skid by just to get in type thing. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it. I don't mind. I can be patient as long as I'm progressing every year. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that, man. So what is it? You said you want to be a good pro. What does that kind of look like in terms of what would you like to accomplish if and when you get to that IFBB pro status?
I just want people to know who I am as a competitor. I want to be like, oh yeah, Tom Dupont, that dude's fucking good. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. obviously, Mr. Olympia is that pipe dream, right? But that's, so minimal in our sport. You can still be a very good pro and not be Mr. Olympia. So if I can just prove to myself that I'm at that pro level and that, what I put into this has paid off for me in that sense, I'm good. Like I would love to compete in the Arnold. I would love to be, a good competitive pro where people see my name on the sheet and be like, oh fuck, man. So that's kind of where my head's at right now.
Okay. Awesome, man. So I saw on your Instagram, and you've got your Condemned Labs hoodie on right now that you just recently kind of connected
Yeah.
with them. So why don't you talk about Condemned Labs? How recent is it? I think it is pretty recent. And what does that mean to you to be able to represent a brand like them?
So Condemned, I've just always liked the image, right? That's what catches your eye first. They're athletes and kind of their supplements. And then I've used their supplements before and I always liked them. And then I just got sponsored by somebody else. So I kind of had to, how that works. Had the issue with that. So I wasn't with that company anymore. And I reached out to Yari and I was like, hey man, this is who I am. This is what I got going on. And I think he knew who I was. So I wasn't just like some stranger. And he said that he would love to have me on. So it's only been, I think this is my second week. So I just got on with them. I'm still waiting for more of my stuff to come in actually. But I got my first supplement packs and yeah, dude, I love it. It's Condemned is the shit. We have, all kinds of great pro athletes. We got female fighters. Like it's just insane. I love it.
Jordan Hutchinson, Mr. USA from 2021. He's an athlete there, right?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been on the podcast. Really, really cool dude. I really like him. So
Yeah.
that's great. Social media. Why don't you give us a little rant on social media, Tom? You got anything that you like or don't like about Instagram specifically or social media as a whole?
I hate that I feel like I have to do it. But that's the only thing that's given me the opportunities that I have right now. So now I feel like I fucking every day have to do something. That being said, it's still good. I get to meet a lot of really good people. So when I travel, I get to meet them. I get to talk to people maybe I wouldn't normally talk to. I learn stuff. I definitely know what sucks about me. So people, especially those, hidden accounts, like they love to say horrible things. So it definitely gives you thick skin. But overall, I think I get a lot more positive than negative.
What are a couple of your gym pet peeves?
Oh, taking up like 7 pieces of equipment. That's a huge one. Being really loud when you don't need to be. That really bothers me. It's like, bro, we get it. You're strong. We're all very impressed.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess not really too much bothers me too much. Just be hygienic. Don't be gross. Those are, I guess, my top 3. I'm used to people not putting their weights away. It's part of the workout these days. So I'm not even going to bring that up.
Yeah, well, I own a gym, and that doesn't fly at my gym because that's one of my gym pet peeves. It's like, dude, like if you can pick up the dumbbell or the plate, like put it back, or you're not going to be a member. But I have a smaller gym, so I can kind of control that for the most part. But I just can't stand that,
I agree. It's one thing I'm noticing. Like, I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but this one gym I go to, which I love, by the way, Lift VT, they're great. That's where I met Andrew, actually. There's a lot younger generation there now. And I don't know if they're doing it to intentionally be rude or it's just kind of how they were brought up. But like I could be practicing posing and they just walk right in front of you. And it's not like I'm right in the middle of the gym. Like I'm in the posing area, like trying to not be in the way of anyone. And then the same thing, they'll leave their weights on there. They'll just kind of, it's just very rude, I guess. There's just no, I guess, mutual respect, which, I try to respect everybody in the gym. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's not you. And you know what? I actually have a sign. So all new members that sign up at the gym here, like I have a sign and at the top, I don't call it rules because we're not in first grade. We're all adults. But I just have gym etiquette / expectations. And this is what I tell people. I say, what I just said. I said, I'm not calling them rules because we're all adults. We're not in third grade. But I said, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page because we have a great community here. And I just want us all to flow in the same direction. But yeah, what I usually say to the adults is that, I call it gym etiquette because most people that are, I'm 35, so I'd say my generation and younger, like we don't even know what etiquette is in terms of like please and thank you, looking somebody in the eyes and like having a conversation. Like normal human etiquette doesn't even exist in our culture anymore, especially for the younger generations, let alone gym etiquette. So I think you're right, man. Like I don't think they're necessarily doing it to be rude, but I think that's what they see on TikTok. It's what they see on Instagram. They see the guys slamming down the dumbbells and leaving stuff out. And they're just like, well, bro, like, you know, I can do it too. And it's just like, there's just no gym etiquette. I really try to control that here because I grew up where it's like, okay, you put collars on your bar when you're using like a barbell, you put, you know, your weights away, you put your dumbbells away. Like that was just the expectation. If I didn't do that, then the owner he was after me, like not in a mean way, but he's like, hey, put your weights away. Like that's what you do, right?
It just seems common sense to me, man. It just be a good person. Like, don't be an asshole. Like, I feel like it's not that.
I think that's becoming harder and harder in our culture nowadays for people to grab that concept. But
I got a quick story though. Check this out. As far as the generational thing, my son said yes, ma'am. It's like I mentioned, I was in the military. My ex-wife was in the military. Our kids are very respectful. So my kid was in school and he said yes, ma'am to, I guess, a substitute teacher who wasn't familiar with him. She thought he was being sarcastic and sent him like to the office. Like, are you kidding me? My son was being respectful. You're not used to this. So that's just how bad it is. Like it's disgusting.
Right.
I don't like, I hold the door for everybody. And I'm always that weird guy who's like, okay, maybe she's too far away, but I'm still gonna hold the door for her, even though, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just try to not be a shitty person.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But you know what? We need people that are going to kind of go the extra mile to be kind and hold the door, because people need to see that in action, right? Because everybody's talking, everybody's saying this and that, but it's like kind of like what you said earlier, like you want to earn it. It's like, well, there's more of us that just need to shut up and actually just do it, so that some of these younger kids can actually say, hey, I want to be like that person. Like I want to be kind. I want to be friendly. I want to hold the door open. I want to say yes, sir, you know, no, ma'am, whatever it is. So I think some of that is on our shoulders. Some of us that are a little bit older, you know, and just say, hey, like I want to do this so I can be that example. Some people will see that and they'll respect you. You've got the tattoos, you're Jack, like you're this bodybuilder guy. Like young people will look at you doing that and they'll instantly like, I want to, like Tom's like, I want to be like him, and I want to be kind, because he's not a jerk bodybuilder. He's actually a kind bodybuilder. So I think that's great if we can have people like yourself with your experiences in life, Tom, to be that example, because we all need somebody to at least kind of look to kind of get some encouragement at some points in life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I try. Like, if you want to look up to me for bodybuilding and like my character at the gym, by all means do that. But don't do anything I do in my personal life, because I fucked that all up.
We're all a work in progress, man. You got to be a little kinder to yourself, I think, huh? Or not? No. Cool, man. Hey, you know what, Tom? I think we're gonna start wrapping up here, man. I do want to ask you, just kind of as we close out this conversation, maybe speaking to some of those younger people that are listening or watching to this, maybe speaking to some of the mistakes that you've made. What's some words of wisdom, or what's some advice pertaining to life, bodybuilding, however you want to take it, that you can maybe kind of leave us with in closing?
I would definitely say, forget about your ego. Like, that is not going to get you anywhere. Learn from anyone. I mean, I learn exercises from bikini girls I see on YouTube videos. So you can learn from anyone, and you should be open to that. And then if you're going to go after something, give it 100%. Like, and I mean 100%. There's no cheating. There's no half-assing. You get after it. Cool. And that's the best I can say from at least my experience.
Yeah. Earn it, right?
At 100%, dude.
you gotta get some shirts made that says that on it, man. I love it.
I'm gonna have you now.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. Why not? Yeah. Okay, so Tom, before I do a quick outro here, man, why don't you give us your Instagram, if you have like a discount code for Condemned or anything else that you want to leave with us or shout out. I'm going to turn it over to you, and then I'll do a quick outro, and that'll be a wrap, man.
Dude, I really appreciate you having me, man. This is awesome. It was a good time. I'm sponsored by Condemned. Amino Asylum, and Jaywalker. My codes are all on my Instagram, my link tree. So check them out. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. But if you want to discount on something, I'm sure I have a code for it somewhere. So just check out my link tree. Instagram is t_unit.npc, and same thing for TikTok.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your life story and your bodybuilding story, Tom. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. All of you who are tuning into another episode of Behind the Muscle podcast, I just want to say thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you. I value all of you. If you guys haven't hit that subscribe button yet on YouTube, I would just ask that you would do that. That's important because I release all these episodes first on YouTube, and then I'll distribute them to some of the other podcast platforms. And then also, please take this episode with Tom, share it on your Instagram stories. Make sure you tag Tom, tag Behind the Muscle, so that we know that you listened specifically to this episode and found great value in it, in which I know you did. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.